Hi, folks. This is Don Meissner with the North Country Fishing Report. And what else to report on now that trout season is again with us? You know, in the past, the 1st of April has always been the big day. That's the beginning of trout season in New York State. Over decades now, we've had catch and release season that goes all year, as long as you don't keep the fish and you use only artificials. Now, granted, if it wasn't important that we limit our pressure on these fish, they wouldn't change it from a keep season at that point to a catch and release. But now it's keep season again, and it's exciting for everybody. You know, it's just a tradition. And while this year I think things are going to be a bit different, I think the good fishing is going to take a little longer to get here because we've had so much snow, such cold weather, and now you're getting huge, fast water, cold water runoffs that it's going to make it really tough to trout fish. A tip is, if you are going trout fishing in the near future, until the water starts to go down, it starts to get a bit clearer, a bit warmer. There's a few tips that I think is important to realize. Number one, you got to keep your bait moving as slowly as possible and get it deep. Those fish aren't going to come up. But I think through all of that, I think it's important to realize that soon the real trout fishing will begin because much of our streams depend on stocking from the state. And the state will have a schedule. You can go on the DEC website and you can discover what dates and what waters they're going to stock. It's going to be a bit different this year because they've had some problems over the year with water level changes, especially during a drought, where the hatcheries weren't allowed to use as much water. And as a result of that, a lot of the fish that they were raising didn't get to be as big as they would have because that period of time, it's critical about how much water these fish get. So instead of being 9 inches, a lot of the fish are going to be less than that. They're also going to have different numbers this year than they were in the past. The brook trout hatcheries were really affected by a whirling disease that trout get. And so a lot of the places that they would be stocking brook trout, they're going to have to replace with brown trout and rainbow. There's always going to be fluctuations. There's going to be changes. But we're lucky. The state plans to stock 1.5 billion trout this year. And hopefully some of those 1.5 billion will be available for us in this area. We really do have some wonderful trout waters. They're ones that I bet a lot of you haven't explored. Trout fishing can be easier than we might think. It's just that, remember, every fish has different habits, different waters. They all can be caught. But you got to put your time in and learn how to catch them. Until next time, folks, this is Don Meissner with the North Country Fishing Report.